Hey guys, it's Mr. Wolfie, finally getting back in shape, getting rock hard, concrete, ready to roll. I do want to apologize to Mr. Tomm Hulett, who is the producer of Silent Hill Downpour, and I think he was the producer of Shattered Memories, and I know he worked on Homecoming. I want to apologize for a lot of the kind of negative stuff I said about him on forums and on videos and things like that. Because he seems like a pretty cool guy. I went on his blog and I talked to him personally on his blog and stuff like that. And, you know, he doesn't deserve a lot of the discrediting remarks people are making. Well, the point I'm trying to make is it's not all his fault when bad things happen. One main reason of making this video is I wanted to show you my favorite, or well, how I lay out the Silent Hill games as far as my favorites are concerned. Here, the only one I don't actually own a copy of is Origins. I have played it on an emulator, and it was a PS2 emulator, so I've heard that the best way to play it is PSP, because I mean that's what it was made for, and that's just the way the game feels the best, is what everybody says. So the PS2 version I think is less efficient and less fun to play on, but I played a PSP or a PS2 emulator on my computer for Origins, and I really don't like Origins, and I think that's the main reason I don't like it, is because I just got a bad gameplay situation out of it. I think the game itself deserves a little more credit than I'm giving it. I don't like the story. I would go so far to say is I don't consider it canon to the entire series. Not because, oh, it's not Team Silent, blah, blah, blah. It's just because I think the series as a whole works out better if you take it out, because it doesn't tell you anything that you didn't already know, but it tries to tell you some things that you already knew in a different way that changes the way things work. Like, not a big deal. I don't personally love it. That doesn't mean it's a terrible game. None of these games are bad. If it says Silent Hill on it, I would give it, you know, at least an average rating as far as quality goes, because Silent Hill is just, it's got a special place in my heart as a gamer, you know what I mean? What we're going to do right here is I'm going to tell you my favorite Silent Hill games in order. And we're going to start with Silent Hill 4 The Room. Now this is not me saying which games are best. It's not about which games are made best, which games are, you know, highest quality, that sort of thing. This is my favorites. This is how I lay out the ones that I would personally like to play the most. And probably the one I've replayed the most besides Silent Hill 2 is Silent Hill 4 The Room. It's just, I love the concept. I mean, you're stuck in your apartment. I like the first person thing. A lot of people hate the first person thing. I liked it. You're stuck in your apartment, can't get out, and you have to go through a hole in the wall to like a crazy nightmare place that is just ridiculously evil and dangerous. Or you can just hang out in your apartment and probably starve to death. Although I think he personally says this sometimes, that he doesn't get hungry. Anyway, people diss Henry. I mean, you can easily diss Henry on the surface of playing the game. You'd be like, hey, he's so bored. He doesn't blah blah blah. He doesn't ever talk, and he just like mumbles and so monotone. What's going on here? But dude, he hasn't slept in like forever. He hasn't slept in days. He hasn't eaten. He's been stuck in his apartment for days. He can't communicate with the outside world. He's completely exhausted, and everything that's happening around him is just ridiculous. Can you blame him for being a little spazzed out, kinda? I mean, should he be like high on cocaine hyper all the time? No. I think he's reacting the way any of us would react. He's just like, seriously, I don't even care anymore. Let's just do whatever we gotta do to get out of here. Which is pretty much his personality, and that's why I like it. I personally think he gets a really bad rap as a main character. Anyway, I love Silent Hill 4. I've played it a million times, mostly to show my friends how you beat it. My second favorite, and I'll explain to you why some of this is the way it is, but my second favorite is, of course, Silent Hill 2. Now that's mostly because of the story. And, you know, everybody in the world has always said, oh, it's got the best atmosphere of any game of all time. And you're correct. It is completely and utterly just awesome in that aspect. I mean, there's no other game that could even compare to it at all. You feel alone, and you feel depressed, and you feel like you know, you should be giving up at any moment, but you don't give up. You keep going, because that's what James does. And, you know, it's just good. And just the delivery of the story is just amazing. There's no other story that can have the subject material that's in Silent Hill 2 and get away with it with such a good quality interactive experience. My next favorite one is Silent Hill 3. Now, I have to be honest, I have not ever been able to play a full round of Silent Hill 3. Every time I get... I mean, I just got... This is my PlayStation 2 version. As soon as I got this PlayStation 2 version, I got like... probably a third of the way through the game, and my PlayStation 2 stopped working, and the memory card erased all my files, and all kinds of stuff like that. So everything I had done was gone. I was rather upset. But I got over it because it's just video games. It's not that big a deal. So I got a PC version and got to a little bit further than that. I was all excited. I was like, oh, I can actually beat the game. I'm so excited to see the ending. And then all of a sudden, my computer burns out. I don't know. It just died. And we still haven't figured out what's wrong with it. It's like the motherboard exploded. I've never been able to play all the way through Silent Hill 3, but I loved it. I have watched... I went ahead... I hated to do it, but I went ahead and watched some Let's Plays and playthroughs and walkthroughs and all that sort of thing to get the whole story and get what's the rest of the game, because I wanted to play it, but every time I try to, something goes wrong. Yeah, I'm thinking seriously about getting the HD collection, because it'll have 2 and 3 on my Xbox 360, and that'll be boss, and I can do Let's Plays of it and stuff like that. Alright, I might just get that. I really want to know if the voiceovers are on the legit before that, because, you know, I didn't like the way that whole situation was handled. That was a mess. And it just made me not want to spend money to support such negative stuff happening in the world, you know what I mean? The next Silent Hill on the list of favorites is Silent Hill 1. Woohoo! The reason this isn't higher is because it's so flippin' hard. It is the hardest Silent Hill in the series, I think. I mean, at least to me, I just get my friggin' junk handed to me every time I try to play it. It just beats me in the face over and over and over. And I mean, I love that about it, but I also get frustrated and have to rage quit every now and again. I like it. I love the narrative. I love the gameplay. Everybody whines about the controls and everything. I like the controls because it makes it harder. You know, have a little difficulty in your games. Why does everything have to be handed to you? Why do you need auto saves and one-hit KO everything weapons and all that kind of thing? But my next one in the series is Silent Hill Homecoming. Now, I'd have to say that it is the least well-made Silent Hill game. It is it's full of glitches. It's, you know, the graphics aren't that great, even though they were so excited about how good the graphics were. The gameplay itself is decent. The story is okay, just it was not delivered properly, that kind of thing. I really like Alex as a main character. He's kind of interesting. That's all I really got to say about that. You saw me play it. It's okay. It's not the worst game of all time, that's for certain. It's just for the worst Silent Hill game. The next one, and I recently did a review of it, is Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Now, I have to say, excellently well-made game. Very nice looking. You know, the graphics were great for the Wii. It played good. It had an okay story. It was just boring. I mean, it was a good game. It's just it had very low replayability, and I don't have any interest in ever playing it again, honestly. I hate to say that about it because I actually liked it. It's one of those weird situations where it's like, man, this game is awesome, but I really don't want to play it again. I'm going to go move on to something else. Can't really say that about any of the other Silent Hills. I would definitely play through the other Silent Hills if I had my PS2 working. Anyway, and then Origins is ranked last because I did not like the story at all, and the gameplay kind of sucked on the PC emulator thing. So I'll talk to you about some more stuff later, but once again, I'm sorry, Tomm Hulett, for being so negative all the time. Bro fist. But anyway, I love you guys. Peace out. This has been Mr. Wolfie.